Hi friends, it's Nancy from Living Phase 2, and today we're in part 3 about the correlation between sleep apnea and atrial fibrillation. And today we're going to talk about the CPAP and how that is going to help prevent sleep apnea, and that will help prevent atrial fibrillation. Welcome to Living Phase 2. Hi everyone. Well, in part 1, I talked about my story of having atrial fibrillation that was related to sleep apnea, how I had to go to the emergency room and have a cardioversion, which is where they shocked my heart to get it back into a normal rhythm. In part 2, we talked a lot about the facts and the statistics of sleep apnea and atrial fibrillation and the correlation between the two. The way to help resolve that sleep apnea is through the use of a CPAP machine. So that's what I'm going to cover today. We'll go through the parts of the CPAP machine. I'll talk to you about the care of it, give you some tips and tricks, and we'll just go from there. So I have the ResMed AirSense 10 for her. It comes in a bag like this that I can put it on my suitcase. The nice thing, friends, is when you are flying, this does not count as an extra carry-on. This is like a freebie, which is a good thing. I'll open it up and I'm going to show you how nicely everything gets packed and it's set in here, and we'll go through all the parts. Before we get into it though, I just want to show you there's a nice little zippered compartment on the outside. Here's your first tip. Friends, have a small extension cord. How many times have you been in a hotel room where there's only one outlet on only one side of the bed and you're trying to plug in phones and other things, and now you've got to plug in a CPAP machine. So use that little outer pocket to hold a little extension cord. It doesn't need to be too long. I think this is only about 6 foot. Okay, when you come inside here, we'll take out the parts. This is the headgear that is going to hold the cushion. This is the machine itself, and we'll put it together here. Here is our water tank. Here's our electrical cord. And the cushion, it'll go on our face. And finally, the hose. So let's take a look at all of this here. I'll get the bag out of the way, and I'll show you how this all goes together. It can be a bit intimidating. There's a lot of parts here to it. And especially if you're new to having a CPAP machine, you want to make sure you're doing things right. It's really easy, and pretty soon it'll be second nature to you. The water tank we would fill with distilled water. On rare occasion, when I haven't had it, I've used filtered water or bottled water, but that's extremely rare. I pretty much always use the distilled water. And there's markings on here that go up to maximum. You don't want to go above the maximum, because if you do, the water will just spill out and you'll just make a big mess. But I do tend to go up pretty high on the maximum, and I find that overnight I use most of the water that is in the water tank. It just slides into the machine like so and kind of snaps in place. On the back side, here is where the hose is going to connect. I have a heated hose, which helps to prevent a dry mouth, a dry throat, dry nose, all of that. It aids in more comfortable sleep. So the hose has a little notch here that fits right in, and it snapped into place as well. The nice thing about this is, depending on what side of the bed, you know, when you're at a hotel or you're at a different bed, you might be on a different side of the bed than what you normally are on at home. So this rotates to whichever side you need it to be on. And then your power cord gets plugged in right here at the bottom. And we'll plug it in. When you plug it in, you're going to see it come on here. And it's going through its little calibrations. The button at the top is my options. When I push this button, I am able to control the temperature of my water because it's a heated tube. So I can control the temperature. I can also control the humidity level. I have my humidity level set on 4. That's what seems to work for me. If I go down to 3, it just seems too dry. 5, it seems too much and I'm getting moisture on my face. So for me, 4 works well. I have the temperature set at 76 degrees. That's also what I like. If you're changing your humidity and your temperature, I would suggest only changing it by 1 degree or 1 level on the humidity, and try it for a night before change. Don't go crazy. That's what I'm saying here. On the side of the machine, we have this opens up. This is what the doctor will plug into to get the readings of the CPAP machine. It's also, there's also some Bluetooth that it gives a reading to my phone app, and it will tell me how well I slept during the night. The other piece that opens up is right here on the side, and there's a little filter that is changed once a month. It just sets in place there, keeps the machine nice and clean. So now we have the machine plugged in. The only thing we don't have is water in here, but we're going to be quick about this. I'm going to actually show you how this all goes together. You've got your cushion, you've got your headgear, and the cushion fits into the headgear. I'm going to show you some different cushions and different headgear in just a little bit. Take my glasses off. You see, I've got a high ponytail, a top knot here. This is how I sleep at night. I like to put my hair up just because if I have my hair down, then the straps tend to really push my hair against my neck. I just find that to be uncomfortable. But to have it pulled up into a soft top knot, that's very comfortable for me to sleep in that way. Put it on, and you want this over your nose and covering your chin. You don't want it too tight. And then we bring the straps around, and they just hook gently like so. I'm able to hook the hose right up to the cushion. And the machine has turned on. Can you tell? Let's see here. Can you hear how quiet the machine is? Okay. I'm going to turn it off here. It starts out at a low pressure, so you're not just bombarded with the pressure of the air immediately. It's a very low pressure, so you kind of build up to it, and it helps you to fall asleep so much easier. So, by the way, what I didn't tell you was CPAP stands for Continuous Positive Air Pressure. What that does to help prevent the sleep apnea is that continuous positive air going in helps to keep my throat open. It helps to prevent me from snoring, and it keeps the passages open, so I am getting good oxygen to my heart, to all parts of my body. But by having the good oxygen, my heart's not having to work so hard, and that hopefully will prevent any future occurrence of atrial fibrillation. So in just a moment, I'm going to show you some other parts of other types of headgear and face masks, and then we'll go over cleaning. Okay, friends, before I show you the different types of masks and headgear that I have, I'd like to invite you to like and subscribe our YouTube channel. We'll be bringing you more content that's related to living in phase 2 here of life. All right, this was the mask that I just had on. It's probably my favorite mask. For me, it's one of the most comfortable. This is a little rubber cushion or pillow that goes around my face. But let's take a look at some of the others that I have acquired over time. This one is also extremely similar, but the difference here is it has a memory foam around the edge. I will tell you what I don't like about it is if I drool at night, this gets wet and it's kind of gross. So this has not been my favorite one. It is very soft and very comfortable, but that's the only thing I really don't like about it. This one is a little different here in that even though this is a full face mask, it doesn't go up over the nose, it goes under the nose. And this is where the oxygen comes out for my nose. I should tell you too that I always choose a full face mask just because I'm oftentimes a mouth breather. If you're not a mouth breather, they do have masks that are for the nose only. I don't have any of those because all of mine are full face, but this one, it's a little different. This one is also very similar, but the headgear is different. Here, the hose goes right in the front, but here, take a look at this one. The hose is going to go, it's magnetized. The hose is going to go over the top, and it's going to connect in the top here, but it fits under my nose and mouth. That one is also comfortable. I actually kind of rotate between this one and my initial one that I told you was my favorite. Sometimes I just get tired of the straps in the same area of my face on a daily basis, so it's kind of nice to switch them out. As far as insurance goes, insurance does help cover the cost of the CPAP supplies once you've met your deductible. And for my insurance, I can get a new face cushion once a month. I can get the headgear every 3 months, and I can get the hose every 6 months, and the water container, it's every 6 months or every year. I'm not sure. I think every 6 months. The last mask that I want to show you, it's a little bit different here. It also has the hose that connects in the front, but this one, it just fits on the head a little different. So it's like that. If you're just starting out with a CPAP machine, I encourage you to go to where you get your oxygen supplies, speak to the respiratory therapist. They will let you try some on, see which ones you like, and over time, try different ones because you may find that you like one better than another, just like I do. You can, in many instances, get your CPAP supplies automatically mailed to you, kind of on a renewal subscription type basis. I personally prefer to go right in and get my supplies in person just because depending on how I'm feeling, I want to look and see what masks they have, and you know, do I want my standby mask, or do I want to go with this one? And if I have them shipped to me, they're always shipping me the same one time and time again. So that's why I like to get my supplies in person. Okay. So there's care that needs to be done in taking care of your CPAP. You need to keep it clean. You really need to keep your face mask clean on a daily basis. You need to keep the headgear clean on a weekly basis, as well as the hose on a weekly basis and the water tank. So I'm going to show you how to clean all of these parts, and it really is easy. You're to use a mild soap or detergent. The mildest one I know of is Ivory soap. That's what I used for my babies, and I always think of Ivory as being mild. So I had got some Ivory dish soap at the grocery store that I use, and I just start out. I just put the face mask. It's in warm. I've got warm water with the soap, and I kind of run my fingers kind of in between the pieces of the rubber to get it nice and clean. And I also have a little, like a bottle brush that I can get in here and clean it as well. And I just rinse it with some warm water and let it air dry. For the headgear, kind of the same thing. I'm just going to get in here, swish it around. It really doesn't get that dirty. We're going to rinse the soap out. I do not take this apart, as far as I keep all of my adjustments. I mean, I have everything is Velcroed to where it fits my head, and I don't want to change those settings, so I don't completely undo my headgear. And then the last, or well, second to last, is the hose. Now I try to keep, this is kind of an electrical part. I try to keep this out of the water as much as possible. It does get wet sometimes, but I kind of tuck it under my arm, and I'm going to submerge the rest of the hose in place. And once I get a good amount of water in here, I'm kind of swishing the water inside the hose. And we're just going to let it drain on the other side of the sink. And I'm going to rinse it out by being a little cautious here. And we'll rinse out the soapy water. Once I have this cleaned out and rinsed out, then what I do is I hang it over the shower, or I hang it in the shower on the shower head, just to drain and drip dry. The last thing we need to clean is our water tank, and I want to show you this. Okay. You really have to keep water in it. You don't want to forget. What happens if you forget, it gets hot. And can you see that? It's scorched. And let me tell you what happens in the middle of the night when it runs out of water. I smell it. I smell plastic. It's horrible. It wakes me up. And I have to get up in the middle of the night. I have to change this. I have to change I've got extra tubing, and I've got extra ones of these. That's why you should always keep your old parts, because sometimes you need them. I have to change them out because I can't go back to sleep with that smell of plastic, scorched plastic. It's very unpleasant. So be sure every night that you fill it with distilled water to the fill line. Anyway, this has a rubberized seal to help keep it sealed tight. Again, it doesn't get very dirty. It looks like you put fresh distilled water in it all the time, every night. And I don't dump out whatever's left of the distilled water in the morning. I don't dump that out. I just leave it in there and I just add more to it each night. So rinse that off. And then our little rubber seal, we'll rinse that. Let it dry. And there you have it, friends. That is how you care for your CPAP. So in the next section, I'm going to invite Mike to sit down and talk with me about his thoughts on me using a CPAP machine, because we have some feelings on it. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, friends, I have my sweet husband Mike here with me. I want you to hear his opinion and thoughts about me using a CPAP machine. Before I ask him, though, I'm going to tell you what my thoughts were, because I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think it's very attractive to go to bed with a mask on my face. And I really had a hard time. I did. I struggled with that. But it's like, I'm sorry, it just is not attractive. I don't think I'm a vain person. I really don't here. So, Mike, what are your thoughts about me wearing a CPAP?
I think that those types of worries are just absolutely need to be put to the side. The most important thing is the health of your partner. Be it your husband that has a CPAP on, be it your wife that needs a CPAP, or in many cases nowadays, both of them, because they're finding so many of the benefits and the health benefits of having a CPAP. You have to put this whole idea aside of, it's ugly wearing a mask. I think it's great where you made this video that you're actually showing this is what it looks like. Honestly, you're just going to bed. So, the most important thing is the benefits that we've seen, and I've personally seen from you once you transition to having a CPAP. You have more energy during the day.
I really do.
You are not as irritable. You are a happier person. You're better off. And not only that, but the fact that it's now been years since you've gotten your CPAP and you have not had another incident of AFib.
It's true.
You have devices that monitor your heart rhythms at home, as well as going in and getting it checked in the doctor. And having the CPAP has just made a world of difference. The other thing that I can say is I think some people are worried that the noise of the CPAP is going to bother their partner. Mm-hmm. Not in the least. You could see on video.
I know you were concerned about that.
You can see on the video. You can't hear it at all. If it's really late at night, it's really, really quiet, and you kind of wake up at night, you can hear just this lightest little hum. But that's all it is. It's nothing that's going to keep somebody awake. I think the old days where you had a CPAP that was practically an iron lung, that those were the time, people heard this blowing fans and all this noise. That is not what it's like at all. It is absolutely silent, the modern CPAPs that they have.
I hear our furnace running in the house right now, and to me, the CPAP is at about that level.
Oh, I think it's even quieter than that. I can hear the furnace more than I can hear your CPAP when we're in bed at night. So the things that I wanted to maybe express and get across are, it's more important for the health of your partner or for your own personal health than to have any vanity toward how do I look wearing a mask, or is there going to be too much noise, or any of those types of things. It is absolutely 100% worth it that if you are prescribed and determined that you need a CPAP, do not hesitate to get one.
Yes.
It is just so important.
And don't use your cousins or your uncles or whoever's, because these CPAPs are adjusted by a doctor to fit your needs. The doctor knows what levels your CPAP needs to be at. So go to the doctor. Don't get a secondhand one.
Right, and that is really, really important because that level of pressure, how it's adjusted, how it operates at night is all set by a prescription on the CPAP for the individual user. So that's important as well. But don't hesitate. If you think you need one, if your doctor prescribes one, if you've had the sleep study and all the indicators are yes, a CPAP will help you, do it.
So to wrap things up, I want to show you 2 accessories that I use on a daily basis that may help make your CPAP experience just a little more pleasant. The first that I want to show you are these mask wipes. Now here I was telling you that you should clean your mask every day, and you really should. But listen, friends, sometimes you're just tired at night, you just didn't get to it, you've had a busy day, and the CPAP wipes are a good alternative. It's like a baby wipe or a handy wipe, and you just wipe your mask and clean it with these. The second thing that I use all the time is a CPAP pillow. This is a memory foam pillow, and it has indentations on each side, so you can picture that my mask would be here, and I'm a side sleeper, so then the mask just fits nicely into the indentation here, and it would work then for whichever side I'm sleeping on. It has a zippered case, so this is washable. All right, friends, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've gained some valuable information on AFib and sleep apnea. I hope you don't ever have to go through it yourselves, but if you do, I hope you've gained some good tips and tricks here. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time on Living Phase 2.